Welcome back for more Howl-O-Ween! Howl-O-Ween, where we look at those spooky spooksters of cinema, the monsters and their movies. Cats, am I right? Blech. Now, last year I made a video about creepy killer cats, and it turns out there are a lot of movies about those foul felines. So I have some more movies with cats in them. I hope you haven't eaten anything, because cats, blech, they're terrible. Well, first up we have this movie, The Black Cat from 1981. This is an Italian picture. Seems like this cat is going around killing people. There's this old guy who owns the cat and hates it. Rightfully so, but he can't seem to get rid of it. His hobby is recording voices of the dead on audio tape. This sexy photojournalist finds a microphone at a graveyard, which is how she finds this old guy. She and this detective investigate the killings and figure out it's the cat. It kills people seemingly for no reason for the most part, like this guy who's just going fishing, causes him to get in a car wreck. Or this couple who just want to have makeouts. Cat locks them in a building at the yacht club, which is apparently airtight, and they suffocate. It sets a lady on fire. It even attacks the cop. Later, we kind of find out why it's killing people, besides just being a cat. They're like that, you know. Cats. Ugh. This one does kind of bring the spooks, I'll give it that. Next, we have The Uninvited. No, this isn't the awesome movie from 1944 starring Ray Milland and Gail Russell. No, this one is from 1987, and The Uninvited, the title refers to, is, you guessed it, a cat. See, there's this cat who escapes from a scientific laboratory where the cat was injected with mad scientist dope. Actually, it's some kind of virus for bioweapons research, I guess. Anyway, as if this wasn't bad enough already, the cat we see is just a skin suit for an even more horrible cat inside the cat. Ugh. We meet some sexy chicks who need a lift to the Cayman Islands. They meet up with some boys who want to lift the girls' skirts, and they all hitch a ride on a yacht belonging to a skeevy business guy played by Archangel from Airwolf. They bring the cat along, and sure enough, it starts killing people. It injects them with this terrible poison that makes their blood vessels explode. The cat kills off most of the cast, not giving anything away there, and it even attacks the sexy chicks. Just like a cat. These people are on a boat, so it seems to me they could just throw this cat overboard. Me, I'd throw it overboard even if it wasn't injected with mad scientist dope. Can our heroes stop this creepy killer cat or what? There is a version of this movie where at least one of the sexy chicks flashes the goods, but I didn't see that print, unfortunately. In our cast is Alex Cord from Airwolf as the shady business guy. He was in a lot of stuff, but I always think of him as Archangel from Airwolf. George Kennedy is along as Archangel's security guy and all-around henchman. And the late Clu Gallagher is here. Our next offering of creepy killer cats is The Uncanny from 1977. This is an odd one in the sense that it's an example of a kind of picture you don't really see anymore. It's an anthology picture in which there's an overarching location or storyline with 3 or 4 separate, complete, standalone, individual stories inserted through the film. They were popular in horror movies in the 70s and early 80s, then fell out of fashion. Here, a pseudoscience author is visiting his publisher to pitch his latest book. Seems as if he's stumbled on the fact that cats are terrible. Not only that, but they're trying to take over and subjugate mankind. Cats, am I right? Ugh. Then we're treated to the 3 individual tales that serve as proof to the author's theory. In the first one, set in 1912, a young couple try to kill off an old cat lady who decides to leave her fortune to her cats instead of them. They hope to destroy her will so they can get the cash for themselves. It doesn't end so well for the couple or the old cat lady. Along with Susan Pengallen as the maid, and Simon Williams from Upstairs Downstairs as the relative trying to get the cash, Joan Greenwood is the old biddy. Then we see a more contemporary segment set in 1975, where witchcraft is introduced in a tale of revenge. This little girl has lost her parents and she has to go live with a crabby relative. She gets picked on by her foster mother and sister, but it turns out her dead mom was a witch. So her cat tells the kid how to use black magic to get back at them. Charles Bronson's adopted daughter plays one of the kids. Finally, in 1936, we see a story where a cat takes revenge on an actor who killed his wife. Donald Pleasance, Samantha Egar, and John Vernon are in that one. These anthology movies almost never seem to work too well, probably why they aren't made anymore. The last segment in the Uncanny is rather comedic and adds to the movie's overall uneven vibe. On the bright side, we have Peter Cushing, fresh off doing his work on the original Star Wars, and Ray Milland, so there's that. And finally this year, we have Ghost Cat from 2004. As you can guess from the title, the cat is a ghost, which means it's dead. Good. This was a Canadian production in association with the people from Animal Planet. In this one, a widower and his daughter are moving from New York City to the countryside and are looking for a house. Turns out the dead mom used to live in the neighborhood. One house they really liked is owned by an old biddy and her cat. Her nephew wants to sell, but she doesn't. Then she croaks. See this cat? It just sits there. Lady's dying, but the cat just sits there. A dog wouldn't do that. A dog would try and get help. Like Lassie. She was always getting help when Timmy fell down the well, right? Know how Timmy got in the well? A cat pushed him. Just like a cat. But thankfully, Lassie was there to help and Timmy was saved. Not if the family had a cat, though. Anyway, the cat dies too. Good. And then it haunts the place. Our heroes buy the house, and the daughter makes friends with the neighbor kids, falling for this 25-year-old 11th grader. The old biddy's nephew needs money because he played fast and loose with his company's money and an audit is pending, and he wants his inheritance, only no one can find the cash. The old biddy tucked it away for her friend who runs an animal shelter where her stupid cat came from. The bad guys in the story are trying to drive the animal shelter lady into selling her property because they have a development deal in the works and they need her parcel of land. The kids seem to be able to thwart the baddies. The dad goes for the animal lady, yada yada. The ghost of the cat helps our heroes out, probably in remorse for a life spent being a cat. I'd be ashamed too. This one is not really a horror movie. There's nothing really scary. Nobody gets hurt all that much. There's no gore. There aren't any jump scares. Nothing like that. It's more of a Hallmark or Lifetime Channel kind of picture. Pretty lightweight kids fare. In our cast, we have Michael Onctine from Twin Peaks and a pre-Juno Ellen Page before she spent too much time on social media and went from Ellen to Elliot. She's okay here. You can kind of vaguely see that she was going on to be in other bigger pictures. Shirley Knight plays the friendly old biddy. Nigel Bennett from Forever Knight plays the corporate land speculator. And Lori Haller plays the lady running the animal shelter. Among many other things, she was in the original version of My Bloody Valentine, which I've reviewed elsewhere on the channel. So, all of these are terrible, but they all have something to recommend them. The Black Cat brings the creepy vibes, if nothing else. The Uninvited has some hot, sexy 80s chicks in swimsuits. The Uncanny has a good cast, and I like the 1912 segment. And in Ghost Cat, the cast is also good, and the cat is dead. Definitely a plus, if you ask me. So there you have it. Cats. Ugh. Join me next time as Howl-O-Ween continues.